Ibrahima was born to the royal family of the Fulo nation in Timbo, city in Fulo Jallo, Guinea, West Central Africa. He was born around 1762 and raised and educated as a Muslim.
When I was 24 years, they made me colonel. At age 26, they sent me to fight the Hebos because they prevented our trade. They went 100 miles into the mountain. They fired upon us. I told everyone to run who wished to do so. I said I will not run from a Hebo.
The Hebos captured Ibrahima and traded him for 2 flasks of powder, a few muskets, 8 hands of tobacco, and 2 bottles of rum. Ibrahima was sold along with 50 others to an English ship. He traveled on the English ship called the Africa. He traveled from the Gambian River across the Atlantic, stayed in Dominica for a few days, then to the Mississippi River, stopping in the Spanish port of New Orleans, spending 6 months in total on board. He was bought by Thomas Foster in 1794 and taken to Natchez, Mississippi. Soon after being bought, Ibrahima escaped to the woods, but before escaping he was a field hand. After a few weeks in the woods, the prince returned heartfelt to his owner. After returning, Ibrahima soon became one of the most trusted slaves on the plantation, becoming an overseer. He married a fellow Baptist slave named Isabella and had 9 children. Ibrahima tended to the cattle and even received his own garden plots. During his slave life, Ibrahima always claimed to be the son of a king. So one day when he was selling vegetables in the market, he recognized John C. Cox, a white man who had lived with Ibrahima and his tribe for 6 months. Mr. Cox attempted to buy Ibrahima because he knew he was royalty, but Mr. Foster refused. From then on, Ibrahima received less work and more free time. In 1828, Ibrahima was finally freed after 40 years, and became one of the most famous Africans in 1828.
I have lived with Foster 40 years. 30 years I labored hard. The last 10 years I have been indulged in a good deal.
After Ibrahima was freed, he went around northern states asking abolitionists and freed slaves for money to buy his children's freedom. At 67, having raised half the money needed to buy his 4 sons, Ibrahima and his wife set sail for Africa. But shortly after reaching Liberia, Ibrahima contracted a serious illness and died, leaving Isabella alone in Africa. I connected the prince with Nelson Mandela because they sort of have the same story. His father was Chief Henry Mandela of the Tembu tribe. Mandela was educated at University College of Fort Hare and the University of Witwatersrand and qualified in law in 1942. He joined the African National Congress in 1944, but the ANC was banned in 1960 and the formation of the Umkhonto we Sizwe began. Mandela was arrested in 1962 and was sentenced to 5 years of hard labor in prison. In 1963, along with many others of the ANC and Umkhonto we Sizwe were arrested for planning to use violence to overthrow the government. Mandela was included. In 1964, 8 of the accused, including Mandela, were sentenced to a lifetime in prison. Mandela was finally released on February 11, 1990. In 1991, Mandela was elected president of the ANC. Mandela spent 28 years in prison. I am comparing the capture of the prince and his life with the slaves that were captured by the Egyptians. Ibrahima was captured through war, and the Egyptian slaves were either prisoners of war or traded by slave merchants. But debt slaves or prisoners of war were often set free after a certain period of time.